Hi, my name is Kevin Oliveira. I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Data Security Solutions at Forcepoint. And today I'm going to be sharing about a concept called rot. And we're going to be looking at what data rot is and how to get rid of rot. And particularly using a new product that we're just coming out with, Forcepoint Data Visibility, which gives you a good initial step into dealing with rot within your environment. So the first thing is I want to look at what it is. And I'm going to start with an illustration of Hoarders. And many of you might know Hoarders is a very popular TV show, reality TV show, one of the most popular. And what it would be is someone would they'd find some person who had just a ton of junk in their house. And then they'd have some sort of intervention. And then a person would come in like this woman here with the gas mask, because there's probably something dead under that heap. And then they would go and just try to clear this out and help this person to get back under control in terms of their lives. And one of the reasons they'll talk about is why do they hoard? One of the reasons is they feel that everything they have has value. And since it has value, they don't want to throw it out because it might have some value in the future. And so then they keep it and they hang on to it. And it ultimately becomes a problem that is so large that it becomes unsustainable in terms of their lives. Why I bring that up is in the concept of rot. Data, looking at data, it can be an asset, but it can also be a liability. We talk about it, data as being the new oil, and it has value, and it can be, when harnessed well for a company, it can bring tremendous value to a company, but it can also be a liability in a similar way to this. And it's the over-retention of data. And so here's a statement about it: over retaining rot files. And the problem with it increases data overall. It just increases the amount of data they have, which increases risks for breaches, exfiltration, and non-compliance. And a lot of times people will think about data and they don't want to get rid of files. There may be compliance things they know about, related to HIPAA, health records. That's one of the most stringent, where they have to keep data for 7 years. They have to keep health records. Sometimes it goes up to as much as 20, 30, 50 years that certain files must be retained. And so what they'll do in reaction is just keep everything. If they just keep everything, then they feel like they're safe. When the reality is they actually can be in non-compliance if they overkeep data and they keep it too long. First, I want to go through here as far as what rot is and how it's defined. Rot is redundant, outdated, or trivial. That's what it stands for. And so redundant being multiple copies of files that are not needed any longer. Outdated is information that is no longer accurate or in use. And trivial data is typically data that's not necessary to store. There's nothing in it that's intrinsically valuable. It's not sensitive data. It's not PII. It's not PHI. It's not anything. And so in the realm of security, particularly redundant and outdated files can be a serious problem. This is a quote, says that businesses believe that retaining all their data will help mitigate potential risks, but the opposite is true. The more unaccounted for data a company has, the higher the risk of falling victim to a cyber attack. And that's because if you just have a lot of data, and particularly you have multiple copies of data, this can create a big problem in terms of particularly hackers getting in and being able to get access to data because there's just more of it. Same with just data exfiltration. There's just more copies of sensitive PII, valuable data. It puts the company at more risk. There was a really famous breach that had happened with Equifax a few years back. They ended up having to settle. It was a $1.3 billion lawsuit settlement. And at the heart of it was the company was retaining multiple copies of different types of credentials. And so there'd be usernames and passwords. And there was multiple copies of these files being created because it would help the business move more quickly. That was the purpose of it. What happened, though, in fact, was that a hacker did get into this shared drive and was very easily able to find these credential files because there were so many of them. And so they were able to go in. There was a huge breach. The outcome was it was a very expensive situation for Equifax. Forcepoint Data Visibility is very effective in terms of helping you to get some visibility into your rot and the rot that you have in your environment. It's very helpful in providing a first step into getting ahead of rot and securing your overall data environment. So one of the things with Forcepoint Data Visibility, this is the dashboard, the key dashboard, and in this shows the results. And with Forcepoint Data Visibility, with every file, you're able to see the IP address, you're able to see a path, there's categorization, subcategorization, classification, PII. You can see if there's a risk situation in terms of compliance. There's a created date, last open date, there's permissions. So you have a range of information you're able to see about every file. And up above, you see these different filters, particular filters around obsolete data. You can see what is created in terms of the start date, the end date. You can see when it was last modified. And so you can see if there often are files that be more than 3 years, more than 5 years since the last modification date. It helps you be able to see the obsolete data. The other thing that we're able to do is there's this tab here for reports. And in reports, one of the reports that can be run is a reduction or a rot analysis report. And so in this rot analysis report, you're able to see the number of duplicate files. So this gives you an example here. Duplicates of the total number of files that were scanned was 248,000 files. 87,000 of them were duplicates. So there's a big chunk that's being taken up. And in this report, you're also able to see the top 10 duplicate files, the top 100, and the top 1,000 duplicate files in the directory. So you're able to get ahead of those and see the size of it, how much that is in terms of the overall files that are being saved, and then how serious that problem is. And then below, you're also able to, beyond this, you're able to see the average duplication factor. And what that means is unique files duplicated. There's a number. There was, in this situation, 27,947 unique files. And then all duplicates is 87,000. So it's on average, about 4 duplicates for each duplicate that's in here, or multiple copies. There's 4 multiple copies. And then you're also able to see stale files. And so with stale files, you're able to see the number of files with the last modification date was somewhere between 3 and 5 years in the past. There's 85,000 files like that. And then in this one, the number of stale files where the last modification date was more than 5 years there's 113,000 of those files. And so real strong potential. And you can set that number as far as what's appropriate for your business, but you can see the number of stale files as well, and then be able to work with those. Then the next thing, by date range, the next thing you're also able to do, this does give you information about trivial files and PII files, so you can see that. But the thing I do want to point out, the next thing you would do is you would have a spreadsheet or a CVS file run on the duplicates, for example. And here you can see an example where there's an MD5 number here. So you get a specific number for each of those duplicates. And then it gives you the size, and then it gives you the path. So then you're able then to go into each of these files and then to be able to get a clear look on it and see, is this a file that needs to be retained? Can one of these be deleted? And so you can explore that directly and then be able to take action to limit the problem of rot in your environment. For more information about this exciting product, please go to YouTube on our Tech Talk channel and go under Forcepoint Data Visibility. You'll see other videos about this product. Also, you can visit our website. It's forcepoint.com/visibility. Again, that's forcepoint.com/visibility. And that'll take you to give you a good intro, some good, there's some other additional content that you can be able to look into and find out more about this, as well as make a request for a demo for the product. Thank you.